The crypto market has been wild over the last few days, and Cardano in particular was the least affected top 10 crypto from the FTX collapse. Recently, we've seen Charles Hoskinson, the founder of Cardano, come out and speak about what's been going on. In today's video, I want to break everything down going on with the overall market, some big changes that are happening for anyone who trades crypto on an exchange, and also specifically what's been going on with Cardano and their founder. So, right now, when we're looking at the overall market, the total number of Bitcoin addresses holding at least one Bitcoin has just reached a brand new record high. We've seen a massive spike in Bitcoin wallet sizes with more than one Bitcoin happen since this big collapse with FTX. And this makes sense because Bitcoin has dropped in price, but we're continuing to see people betting on Bitcoin long term, and that is a bullish sign, seeing that despite everything going on, despite prices collapsing, despite FTX, one of the biggest exchanges in the world, completely failing, people are still wanting to get involved in the crypto space, and new people for that matter are getting involved because we're seeing Bitcoin wallet sizes get above that one Bitcoin in each account. Next thing I want to go over though is what has happened with Charles Hoskinson, because what we have seen is that while Cardano was the least affected top 10 crypto from this FTX collapse, which we'll dive into in a minute why that was, we saw that their founder, Charles Hoskinson, came out and addressed what he thinks about the current situation. And there's some things that we do need to be concerned about. So first thing is that Charles Hoskinson came out and says that the FTX meltdown might be one of the last crises in this bear market, really, for the crypto space. And this is good. He's saying that ultimately we've seen a lot of these projects that were taking advantage of the system, that were mishandling users' funds, that a lot of these projects have been shaken out. And it's unfortunate that people have lost their money, but it happens in every single bear market. During bull markets, people get overconfident. They do things they shouldn't be doing, and that is a consistent thing that we have seen in previous bull markets. Probably is going to happen again. But he says that this FTX collapse should mark the end to all of these major meltdowns with 3 Arrows Capital, Voyager Digital, and other major companies. So that is a good thing. Unfortunately, though, we're still going to see the impacts of this FTX collapse over the next few weeks as more and more companies reveal that they had exposure to FTX and that matter. But he says that this should be the last major collapse and last major crises in this bear market.
So now let's move on and talk about Aptos. Aptos Blockchain just recently had a very successful launch and has been labeled as the Solana Killer due to the fact that it could process over 100,000 transactions per second. This project was founded by two former Meta employees. They raised over $350 million, and recently it has been making major waves on social media, and all of you guys have been tagging me on Twitter telling me to talk about it. So instead of doing a full video breakdown, I just want to do a little update as to what I think on the project, some thoughts, some new projects on its ecosystem. And while I do think this project has some interesting developments in terms of new projects and dApps, I think the most interesting part of its entire ecosystem right now is with NFTs. Right now, NFTs on Aptos have been selling very quickly. One of its top projects, called Aptos Monkeys, topped all other NFT collections on Ethereum and Solana and Cardano. Every other NFT collection on any blockchain, Aptos Monkeys sold more in terms of volume over a single 24-hour window. This was just on one day, but it's interesting to see that a brand new ecosystem, a brand new blockchain, saw this much support in the NFT space. So this provides a unique opportunity, in my opinion, since it is such a new and rapidly growing ecosystem. After doing a bit of research, there are a few NFT projects and a few dApps on this platform that are very promising, in my opinion, but one of which stood out is called Popcorn Markets. It's actually the first ever automated market maker on the Aptos blockchain. And the cool thing about this is that it just launched a few weeks ago because the Aptos blockchain launched just recently. And in its first 4 days on social media, gained 25,000 followers on Twitter, 12,000 Telegram members, 900 Discord members, and that was just in its first 4 days. It's grown rapidly since then, but this shows me that the Aptos community is by far one of the strongest communities in the crypto space right now, and new projects are gaining massive support. This is exactly what I want to see in a new project and a new blockchain. One thing with Popcorn Markets is that it is the first AMM on the Aptos blockchain, and the reason why I like to focus on AMMs specifically specifically for Aptos blockchain is because they work more efficiently than manual trading on the exchange through the order book. They fix the problem with price delays in market, and AMMs are open 24/7. So basically, they make it easier for people in the crypto space to profit. The cool thing right now with Popcorn Markets and Aptos blockchain in general is that with Popcorn Markets, you can instantly buy and sell NFTs, contribute to pools of tokens and NFTs to earn additional rewards and avoid marketplace fees. And this is ultimately the easy way to benefit from a rapidly growing ecosystem with Aptos blockchain. Interesting thing enough is that Aptos right now, while we have seen it explode on social media, it had a very successful launch, like I said. It's already seeing hundreds of developers working on building dApps on the Aptos blockchain, and with Popcorn Markets being the first ever AMM on its platform, I think it really has a huge advantage. This project doesn't have any sort of token that you can buy just yet, but it's one that you definitely should keep on your radar because it's the first AMM to ever launch on the Aptos blockchain. Aptos blockchain, its NFTs have seen a massive explosion. That has been where I've seen the most growth in the Aptos blockchain ecosystem. And with Popcorn Markets, it has grown very quickly on social media. It has huge partnerships with Title Swap, Aptos Swap, Aptos Launch, Anime Swap, Kana Labs, and many more. And it's just definitely something you should be keeping on your radar. So next thing is going to be, though, some big changes that are good, that have come out of this collapse. One of the biggest, most exciting, the best thing to happen for crypto from this collapse is that new crypto exchanges are doing proof of reserve. And what proof of reserve is basically crypto exchanges showing what crypto they're actually holding, how they're handling users' funds, to ensure that what happened with FTX and them lending out their funds to Alameda Research and taking risky bets doesn't happen. So this way, with proof of reserves, customers are going to be able to see exactly what crypto exchanges are doing with their funds. And this is the number one thing to happen to the crypto space as a result of the FTX collapse. We can see that Crypto.com, OKX, Binance, Bybit, Huobi, Polynex, KuCoin, Gate.io, all these major exchanges have already announced that they're going to be implementing proof of reserve, and I'm expecting this list will be updated and we'll see more and more come out with this announcement, because if all the top major exchanges are doing proof of reserve, they're showing users how they're storing the funds, well, I would expect all crypto exchanges to do this, because if not, people are not going to want to use those platforms. If it is the one or the two that aren't showing how they're handling funds, people are going to stay away from those. So this was a great thing to actually come out, and while it does suck with everything with the FTX collapse, this is one silver lining. Next thing, though, is going to be with what has been going on with Crypto.com. They actually have been one of the first companies to release their initial portion of their proof of reserves. They said that they have a complete audit undergoing still underway, but you can see right here that they have $2.8 billion in this initial portion of their proof of reserves. They said this represents just a small portion of total funds they have, but you can see that they have Bitcoin, Shiba Inu, Ethereum, USDC, USDT, and others. The reason why Shiba Inu is so high on this list, why it's the second highest, is because it appears that Crypto.com users really like Shiba Inu, and that is one of their top holdings, which is why Crypto.com therefore holds a lot of Shiba Inu. In addition to Crypto.com, we have seen Binance just revealed their balances and part of their proof of reserves, as well as the complete audit is underway. They have about 475,000 Bitcoin, 58 million BNB, 4.8 million Ethereum, 17.6 billion USDT, 21.7 billion BUSD, and 601 million USDC. You could see all of this on their recent post where they talked about how they're going to be implementing more and more mechanisms in the future for this, how they're going to have a complete audit and a complete report released in the coming weeks. But as of right now, you could check every single wallet address for all of their reserves right here on the website. So I'll link that down below. Now let's talk a little bit about other things going on with Cardano. So recently I just made a pretty big purchase of Cardano, and I bought it on Bybit. This is the first time I did buy it on Bybit. They don't sponsor me, they don't pay me to talk about their platform, but I started doing a bit of research into platforms that are implementing proof of reserves, and this is one of them. Bybit is
the third most visited crypto exchange in the world in terms of monthly website visitors, and that is the reason why I bought it on Bybit. I have links in the description for Bybit, for KuCoin, because those are the two exchanges I use the most. Also, I use Fairdesk for leverage trading, but I did just recently purchase a pretty big bag of Cardano over on Bybit, so I trust my funds there. I have done my research into them using proof of reserves, how they're going to be using that moving forward. So I'd recommend that if you're not using Bybit, at least use one exchange where they're implementing proof of reserves. Last couple things with Cardano is going to be first. Cardano, as I said, was the least affected top 10 crypto from the FTX collapse. This was shown in terms of percentage loss. They perform much better in terms of just percentages, but also there's two specific reasons. First of which is that ADA was not listed on the FTX spot market. Everyone had always been saying, when was Cardano going to be listed on FTX? When was it going to happen? And everyone was hoping it was going to happen, but actually this was the best news, the best possible thing that could have happened for Cardano was that it wasn't ever listed on FTX spot market, meaning there wasn't a lot of Cardano on the platform helping the price perform better relative to other cryptos during the collapse. Second thing is that Cardano's direct competitor Solana lost more than 50% of its value in a matter of 24 hours because FTX and affiliates, they had direct participation in Solana, in its project, and while FTX isn't Solana and Solana isn't completely dead, it has just been hit yet another massive blow and is going to struggle even more because of everything that has happened with FTX. According to Solana, they said they have about 30 months of runway in terms of funding, so they're still fine. They're not going out of business, they're not going bankrupt, but with everything that's happened with Solana outages, with NFT traders leaving Solana for Cardano, looks like Cardano is becoming less of a competitor to Solana and just becoming more of a dominant force in the layer 1 space and becoming more dominant in NFTs as well. Last thing going to be with Cardano is that we had just seen in a recent interview in an AMA with Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson, he says that the FTX implosion is going to cause massive issues for the entire crypto space for a while. He says that he does believe this is the last major implosion, major collapse that's going to happen in this bear market, but what he said is that FTX has been lobbying very heavily in Washington, D.C. over the last few years, and their failure and their collapse could change the entire political landscape in the U.S. for crypto moving forward. If FTX isn't lobbying, isn't spending hundreds of millions, even billions of dollars on lobbying, regulators might not vote the same way that they would have before. So that's the first big issue. Another big issue is that the failure of FTX could result in that the reputation of the entire crypto industry has been harmed tremendously. People are losing a lot of trust in the space. People are saying, well, if FTX, one of the biggest exchanges in the world, collapses, who's going to be next? So that's the second big thing. And he also said it's hard to just know what's going to happen next because since the acquisition didn't go through between Binance and FTX, it means that their financials are all messed up. And we don't know who's going to be impacted from this ripple effect from FTX going bankrupt. What companies, what new projects, what startups have exposure to it. We already know that FTX was looking to acquire and bail out Voyager Digital. That's not going to happen. So there's going to be ripple effects of this for the next few months at least, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But either way, Cardano was the least affected crypto in the top 10 to be affected by this FTX collapse. I made a big investment in it recently in Cardano on Bybit. I just want to share with you some things going on with Cardano, the overall market, and with Cardano's founder, Charles Hoskinson.